for all of that issues. Apologies. We should have you back though, on the best of margins. Anyway, my OBS decided to crash.
Yeah, Storm Dara terrorising people up and down the nation.
It was bound to happen. We've had Gareth's power completely go, and now we've had OBS completely crash on me. But at least it did it under a virtual safety car.
Someone tripped over the power plug. Lovely stuff there. If you could this is not the most professional, but if you could just share your screen potentially.
Oh, my apologies. Let's go back to our faces quickly whilst we're on the VSC, because then we don't get all the pausing stuff.
Yeah, and then folks, we can have a little chat to Mr. Dale in a few moments' time.
We certainly can. Let's do that. Let me get a full projector up for you 2 seconds. Welcome to the folks at home. Apologies if you're just tuning in and you've looked at the screen and gone, well, why is the stream dead? It's because OBS had a lovely moment deciding to crash on me, but we will keep you up to date as much as we possibly can. Tom now can see what everybody else can see.
Get in there.
And why don't you
on form?
Why don't you pull Dale over to? Why don't you pull Dale over and let's have a chat with him if he's in.
Good evening, guys. Good evening. I'm absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We can. Yeah. Sorry, apologies. What was it that went wrong at that final time of asking?
Honestly, it was. We all lost audio. There's no other way around it. There's no other way to sugarcoat it. At least half of the grid has lost audio. We was all spending time trying to find little pauses and little fixes of switching our audio to try and regain it back. Unfortunately, going through the casino section is obviously a section of the track where you really need to hear your engine, hear the amount of traction your tyres have got, and I lost audio at that exact moment. And yeah, rear tyres didn't want anything that I was giving it, straight into the wall. Me and Razin were racing beautifully, as when we come out the box, we could see that Gillen was pretty close to us. We swapped DRS beautifully for 10 laps, got away from him just as we caught up to the pack. I believe that we were on for net P1 and P2. I only had intermediate tyres left to be put on, and honestly, I was in such a good place. The pace felt on fire. I fixed a little issue with my brake that seems to have done wonders, so yeah, I'm gutted. I was on for a good result.
Yeah, massive shame. Obviously, you said that you fixed a little issue. Coming into this race, how confident were you feeling that you could get a very decent result?
Honestly, really good, because I was setting good times. I was clearing them off the leaderboards. I was judging them against people that I know are typically... Well, it's a case of... I think they're faster than me. It's just I've had a few hardware issues. But now, as you can see, on the back of Razin, I could smell what he was having for breakfast for 10 laps. So usually they would just sing past me. So yeah, seems to be for the better.
Yeah, it hasn't necessarily gone your way. And of course, we were hoping to see Project Verstappen at the end of the season. Are we still on track potentially to see that in Season 9?
We are indeed. So big plans in the works. If I do get a seat in Season 9, I will be taking a step back for a little father-son combo for the entire season and progressing Little Man from the race 1 all the way through to the final race as a little project. So yeah, if we're here for Season 9, you're definitely going to see Project Verstappen.
Things we absolutely love to see. Dale, thank you so much for hopping in for a chat, mate. And we wish you and your son the best for Season 9.
Thank you, guys. You killed it, as always, on the comms. And thank you again for hosting for us. And look forward to seeing you both again in Season 9.
See you soon, buddy. See you.
Cheers, Dale.
Have a great evening.
Well, I can only describe that as not only unfortunate for his race, unfortunate for the stream as well. Apologies if you are just tuning in or you've got another alert about the Create Series has magically gone live at about 7:30 UK time. I do apologise for that one. Something that was unfortunately out of my control.
Storm Dara, like I said, terrorising the nation of the UK up and down the land. We are on lap number 40, still with the safety car out and the current running order. I'm not sure if everybody is on the tyres that they can take to the end of the race, but it is Razin Chai from Safso from that guy Vince, then the two McLarens. This constructors battle is going to be very, very tasty to the end. Meraki P13, Formula Kareem P14, Alex Gillen P15.
Certainly is indeed. Razin Chai will lead us away. I think Safso having similar issues to what we had with OBS just a couple of moments, but with potentially some connection. Storm Dara really causing chaos up and down the UK for quite a few of our drivers. Just to give you a picture, I'm fairly sure everybody now has done all the 5 required tyres that they needed to do before the end of the race. So we have essentially got an 18-lap sprint now to the end of the Grand Prix.
And we're going to have to see Meraki take those soft tyres potentially very far, along with Dark Viper. Formula Cream, we saw in the Formula 2 yesterday, he is very adept at making his way back through the field and doing it at quite the rapid pace. Razin Chai has gone, diving into the pits. This is Safso's AI. Oh.
Heartbreak for Safso. He'd done all his stops. I'm almost certain of it. He'd done enough to see this race out, but this is going to release that guy Vince, who's had a bit of a poor race throughout the entire Grand Prix. Of course, he's on one warning. He hasn't had any penalties to his name yet, but he's had a good race. He's kind of just sat in amongst the field, qualified down in P9, of course, and now he will try and make his way through. And of course, yeah, it's definitely his AI in the pit lane. Just getting confirmation of that in the chat.
Bungie scrapping away, trying to hold on to fourth place at the expense of Matty D, who's potentially trying to get up maybe onto the podium with the two penalties that the two McLaren boys have directly in front of him. What can the Kick Sauber do? Down into turn number 8, not quite close enough. It's actually Dark Viper on the move, trying to get ahead of Hayden Gullis in the one remaining RB in this lead fight. Sir Dogan and Ricky debating 8th and 9th position as well, with T. George running at our top 10.
Yep, beautiful stuff as we make our way through 17 and a half laps to go at this moment in time. Razin Chai on for another victory in the F1 Creator Series. Of course, he got one back in the first ever race of this season in F2 in Singapore, if you can remember, all the way back to September. Formula Career and Dragonflies having a good battle further back, as well as I think Meraki getting caught up in that as well, after having to make the pit stop right at the end of the race. But I do assure you, as you continue through this Grand Prix, it's no one can afford to rest, as they are still all on different tyres. It's a split field amongst the softs, mediums and the hards. We'll show who's on what at the moment. And the question is, who's going to be able to hold the tyres on, as Safso still can't quite get in.
Yeah, but Razin Chai looking absolutely rapid at the moment, 1.3 seconds. He's broken the DRS range to that guy Vince in second place, who knows all he has to do is try and bring it home in second and hope that those two McLarens get bumped down the field with the penalties looming over their heads. And the Constructors' Championship will be heading to the Green Machines.
Certainly will be indeed, and we'll get confirmation of that out on social media. Of course, we're not able to confirm the final standings after this evening's endeavours, but Matty D looking for a move on Punju here in towards the chicane. I think he thought about it for about half a second, but not going to act on it. Formula Kareem, on the other hand, is going to send a move down the inside of T. George. Beautiful stuff. He's later on the break, swoops around the outside, says thank you very much, and he's up into P10.
I tell you what, I would not be surprised one bit if Formula Cream finishes this race in second place. Meraki was trying to have a piece of the action, though. Potentially 3 wide between all of them. Down into turn number 9 is Formula Cream ahead of Meraki. T. George in the Aston Martin dumped down into 12th place, potentially low, because Alex Gillen is lurking behind them as well in the Kick Sauber.
He is indeed. He is itching for an opportunity to try and get up the field, as T. George gets a 3-second penalty for track limits. He won't be too happy about that one. Responding down in P12 as things stand. Guerra leaves the session off that earlier DNF, and the car retiring itself. But Punju is still in P4. And as things are on their head, McLaren looking like a very strong moment as things stand.
Yeah, with T. George down the order in 12th at the moment. It's the Papaya outfit looking, as they are in real life, to potentially pick up the Constructors' Championship, but still with 15 laps to go. That could very much change, especially if we see another safety car. And Matty D still piling the pressure on Punju in that battle for 4th and 5th. Dark Viper, remember, on the soft tyres right behind them. Then it's Sir Dogan still sinking his teeth into the Williams of Ricky and holding 8th place. But Formula Cream now right underneath the rear wing of the pair of them. It could be in 8th place by the time we get down to the braking zone at turn number 6.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye. If you're going to send it, I'll tell you who is going to send it. It's Ricky 03. He goes for 1. He goes for potentially 2. As he's later on the brakes versus Hayden Carpark Gullis. There's contact between the two of them as they head towards the chicane. Sir Dogan thought about a little sniff up the inside of the second corner, but he couldn't quite come out successful this time around. Formula Karim and Sir Dogan having a good battle further back as well. There's side-by-side action between Matty D and Dark Viper GT. Battle for 5th. I think Punju, in not too long, will get caught up in this fight.
Well, he's a bit of a cork in the bottle, boxing in the pair of them, or as they dart through turn number 9. Now sending it up the inside is Dark Viper, trying to push Punju down the field, but he couldn't quite get that Mercedes far enough alongside the Papaya car, and will remain in 5th position for the time being, with Matty D lurking underneath the rear wing, and Hollywood Hayden Gullis still in there as well. He's
got to use these softs whilst they last. Dark Viper won't have the opportunity or the benefit for much longer. He's on 5 laps already. If you remember back to the start of this Grand Prix, Guerra could only do 9 laps before saying his tyres were completely destroyed. So give it maybe 2 or 3 laps of usable tyre life on the Mercedes. And of course, the other Mercedes is the one that he should have been listening to earlier on.
100%. Yeah, look at Razin Chai streaking clear out in front, though, up to 2.2 seconds clear of that Vince, who is keeping F1 Scott at arm's length. Hayden Gullis pushes Matty D down a further position into 6th now for Hollywood Hayden Gullis. Is this an opportunity potentially for the two McLarens to swap places? F1 Scott on the hard tyres is going to be, well, it's going to be light work for Punju.
It is indeed. Ricky 03 looking for a dive bomb in towards the chicane as well. Late on the brakes, we've seen this one before. It didn't pay off though, as Matty D almost able to get the traction, but in the second stage of acceleration, couldn't quite get the pull away that he would have been hoping for. But we are too wide still as we run down towards the elongated left-hander. Ricky from Karim from Sir Dogan, who sends a move down the inside this time on Matty D 13, this time making it stick.
Matty D has been absolutely gobbled up, and suddenly from looking very, very positive in position 5, his race has fallen apart like a deck of cards down into 10th position with Meraki and Alex Gillen hot on his heels. Where is the constructors' battle looking? Dak Gavin still in 2nd. T. George has fallen down into 15th place at the moment. It's still going to be going to Woking.
Certainly is indeed. Back to one of my hometowns, my football team hometown as well. So both F1 team and football team taking some victory this afternoon. It would be lovely to see. But Formula Karim making his way through. He's pretty much on the gearbox there of Ricky 03 that stands in front of him. Hayden Carper, Gullis just in P6. Viper, Scott Punju all the way up towards the podium. But Razin Chai, talk about checking out. He has checked out of this race by over 2.5 seconds now.
Oh, and that was very late on the brakes for Kareem. Little bit of a mistake down to turn number 5. That is a little bit of argy-bargy going on between Meraki and Alex Gillen, giving each other a bit of a shoulder barge through turn number 5. Darting out to the left-hand side very aggressively is Sir Dogan as he makes mincemeat of Ultra Killer. And this battle between Gillen and Meraki going to continue down into turn number 6. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? I think it's going to be Meraki, but off the inside goes Alex Gillen. Neither willing to give an inch. Bit of a wobble on the exit, and that could be the little mistake that cost Meraki the place.
Certainly could be. You can't allow Gillen opportunities like that, but Punja's managed to make it past that guy Vince as we head in towards the left-hander once again. Lap 45 of 58. We've got 13 laps to go. 13 once we cross the timing beam for the next time. And this is Punju up to P2. But of course, we don't forget that he has that time penalty to his name. Vince remaining penalty-free as things stand. The next person who remains penalty-free all the way down is down to P6, Hayden Gullis, who has nothing to his name.
There is an opportunity here for someone to get a very big result. Punju has got that penalty, but running in 2nd place, I don't think he's picked up a podium in the F1 Creator Series. Needs a couple of dramas to happen behind him, but looking very, very good at the moment. Those penalties will hurt the two McLaren drivers. Dat Guy Vince has just got to stay in this race, stay in the fight, and keep Aston Martin's hopes alive.
They're not even pulling closer to Razin Chai, who's in the race lead, of course. He's now over 3.5 seconds clear of Punja and Vince as they continue to fight further back. Alex Gillen sending a move on his teammate Matty D13. Ricky's in the barrier.
Hayden!
No, Hayden's in the barrier. VSC, no full safety car once again on 46 of 58. We're going to have a sprint race to the end.
Not so Hollywood Hayden Gullis, face first in the barrier, coming through turn number 5 after debating 6th and 7th with Ricky 03 and very much coming off 2nd best.
That is, we have commentators curse in F1 and esports as well. I'm calling that chat curse. After about 30 seconds before, FX Bradbomb said Hayden he said Hayden podium, and I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
Yeah, Bradbomb, if you want McLaren to win this Constructors after what we've just seen, I would maybe just keep Stum for the rest of this race.
Yeah, or to say everyone else is going to go get a podium, but that seems to work equally as well. The question is going to be, what tyres does everyone put on now with only a few laps remaining?
Well, the drivers on the softs have got, like I said earlier on, a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free clause here, because if they jump into the pits, they can get rid of those horrendous red stripe soft compact tyres. Razin is into the pits. Look at that. That was incredibly close between Scott and Dart Viper. The Mercedes almost getting cut up behind. This is golden for Dart Viper to get off those soft tyres and keep himself very much in the fight for the win or potentially a podium. But look at that. That guy, Vince, now leading the way. Suddenly, it's all come up Aston Martin.
Come up Aston Martin. Gillen, of course, with the penalty to his name, won't be in the most happy of situations, but 8 drivers remaining out here this afternoon. Everybody else piling in towards the pit. Then we'll get an update on tyres, as they are going to be a little bit sporadic left, right and centre. Razin new mediums, as is Meraki F1 Scott. Formula Karim and Dark Viper GT choosing the softer tyres, and I wonder what Punju's gone on to. He's put on old hards.
That's an interesting one, that is. Haas to the end?
What?
Surely that must have been a mistake from Punji there. 17-lap-old hard tyres. I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps back into the pits.
Well, he was on... Let me just have a look at this. He was on 13-lap-old medium, so I wonder if he felt he couldn't take them to the end or didn't want to risk taking them till the end.
Maybe he's got no tyres left. Maybe that's the realisation of Punji could be absolutely mudded here. 3 seconds of penalties and no remaining tyres to use. And Aston Martin now going to be licking their lips because suddenly McLaren looking very, very shaky. Scott in 13th, albeit on new tyres. Punji in 10th, not on new tyres, despite taking a trip through the pits.
Yeah, it's going to be a fascinating race, and Datko Vince, though, inherits the race lead under this safety car. 62 race starts to his name, 1 podium and 3 DNFs, but also no wins quite yet. And I think at the moment, he's looking on for a great race win. If you are just joining and you haven't been here since the start, first of all, where have you been? Second of all, yes, of course, hard tyres have been re-allowed for this wild card only, so they have to use all 5 tyre compounds for at least 5 laps each. And I believe every single driver has at least done that, so they will be rather happy and going home in the order. At least no disqualifications in the offing for a few of our drivers.
Yes. Oh, T. George, a little bit of squalling for positions. Into the pits comes Punju, as we would have expected, to get rid of those tyres. So we'll fall to the back of the pack. If everyone that is still left can make it to the end of the race, they will pick up points. We have 15 drivers left and 15 will score points. Razin Chai has got his work cut out a little bit to try and force his way back through the field and do what his football club Manchester United couldn't and pick up a win.
Well, we'll see. As we progress through 48 to 58, we were going to have 10 laps to go for this Grand Prix. Punju was trying to go to new mediums, but his turn-in button changed his tyres, I think, and put him on hards. Yikes.
Yes, that is a yikes. Hayden Gullis. Hollywood Hayden's in the interview waiting room, though. And while we do have this safety car, shall we speak to Mr. Gullis?
Let's speak to Mr. Gullis. Let's pull him in and see what he has to say for himself.
Hello.
Apologies. Hayden, welcome in first of all. Second of all, talk us through what exactly happened there.
Yeah, hello. Hope you've all been having a wonderful race. I was having a wonderful race, and then sadly I am no longer. But I don't know. I'm just watching it back now. I don't think Ricky did anything wrong. I don't think I particularly did anything wrong. It was one of those where we just kind of like met in the same line, and sometimes you get lucky with that small amount of contact that you're just gonna rub off each other and nothing's gonna happen. Sadly this time though, both our cars kind of had a weird movement and it just pinged me out into the spat me out, chewed me up, put me in the wall, sadly. And yeah, I was hoping I'd just take off my front wing, but took off the whole thing, sadly. But I was on for like a podium in that situation because everyone had pens ahead of me. So I was so disappointed.
Yeah, it was a rather unfortunate one. Sorry, Tom, go for it.
I was just going to say, it looked like you got the strategy with the tyres pretty much spot on. Got yourself into a very decent position. Sat in a podium place for, I think, 15 or 20 laps at some point. Did you feel that you could get on that podium come the end of the race? Because a lot of drivers in that battle had penalties lingering over their heads.
From the ones in front, felt like I was quicker. Dark Viper had to either take those softs to the end or box again. Scott on hards, I bettered myself in the early stages. Probably could have been faster than me in the latter stages. And with Eli, I thought myself quicker than him. And Vince as well was just, yeah, he didn't have the pace that I expected him to have. It was like he was holding everybody back and bunching everybody up, which was quite weird. So I backed myself to beat them lot, but then you have people behind you like Karim, Meraki, who now have that opportunity to try and get past you. So it was very, very close, having to watch in front and watch behind. Sadly, watching behind, maybe brake a little bit too late and have to avoid Viper. And then that put me in a situation where I was on the outside of Ricky. But yeah, I think podium could have been on today. But we go again, maybe one day.
Certainly do indeed. Well, unlucky on your race result here, Hayden. We're going to let you go because safety car's headed back in. And I'm sure we'll see you again at the start of season 9, buddy.
Enjoy.
Thank you so much. Well, we're back to all the action here. Lap 49 of 58. The safety car has gone back in. Minimal changes, though, in the grid order. Razin Chai up to P7, getting past Dark Viper, actually now dispatching Dragonflies as well as he swoops around the outside of the Haas car. Beautiful move from the Scuderia Ferrari. He now can see a podium on his hands as he's on fresh mediums.
Well, potentially a race win if he can get past T. George very, very quickly indeed. Still 8 laps to go in this race. That guy Vince leading the way, hasn't won in the F1 Creator Series, with Ricky 03 in second, who hasn't won in the F1 Creator Series.
Certainly so. He's got an almighty challenge to try and pull his way through. Of course, Gillen and T. George, as you said, penalties to their name. But Sir Dogan and Ricky, 2 of those drivers that stand in front of him, will be trying and get not only a podium, but that race win taken away from that guy Vince. They've got all of it to do on their hands this afternoon, but Ricky's so close to the Aston Martin that stands in front of him.
Still going to keep tabs on the likes of Meraki and Formula Cream as well in 9th and 10th position. Is this an opportunity for Ricky to get the lead of the race? Alex Gillen's going to act as spoiler here because he's going to make it 3 wide potentially, although the space closes to the left-hand side. He's going to have to sit in behind for now. Dagovich from the front to the back of the train, but Gillen gets his braking all wrong and goes into the back of the Williams and almost off the circuit. Nearly clatters into the Aston Martin as he rejoins. I think he may have picked up some damage as well.
I think he did. I think he's actually managed to avoid any potential damage unless front left end plate. Note the kick Sauber remaining penalty free here this afternoon. Alex Gillen, though, I can't say his underpants are definitely clean after that. The rear's locked as he tried to send a move down the inside of Ricky 03. Didn't quite pay off, and that car went sliding through, probably more than he would have anticipated for. He's now got to try and remake the move, not only on that guy Vince, but of course Ricky 03. And he's got Sir Dogan and Razin Chai for company just behind.
He should be taking out a lottery ticket. He hasn't got away with that, has he? Surely not, because if he has, lucky boy. And I think he could be picking up the Euro Millions if he tries to get involved in that one.
Yeah, Dark Viper setting the fastest lap of the race, down in P6 on the fresh set of soft tyres. And this still could go the way of Alex Gillen. Of course, he's got that penalty to his name, so he's got a lot of work to do if he wishes to try and get in front and then try and get a boogie on, try and get the 3 seconds advantage that he needs. But Razin Chai from further back sends a move down the inside of Sir Dogan. He's up to P4. He's now right on the rear of Alex Gillen. Are we going to see Scuderia and Kick Sauber go battle to battle as Datko Vince and Ricky 03? I think we'll swap positions. Are we going to see Gillen try and send it in the same place that he did last time? He's got the advantage over Ricky 03. He doesn't quite have it on Datko Vince. Someone's gone off further back. I think that's Meraki going wide. Sorry, that's T. George in the Aston Martin going wide. So Meraki makes 2 positions up.
And T. George picking up a 3-second penalty, still getting stuck into each other. Alex Gillen, Ricky 03, Razin trying to get past the pair of them potentially around the outside of turn number 9, but it is going to be the duel between the Kick Sauber and the Williams. Potentially picking up a place on the inside is Razin as the Williams runs slightly wider, but can't force that Ferrari far enough alongside. Got to be careful of Sir Dogan as well, as Alex Gillen's just lagged behind all of them. He's down into 7th place. Gillen, oh no!
I have no idea what happened there. We've got a teleporting Kick Sauber as things stand. He's backed by Meraki at the moment. He won't be too happy about that one. And of course, ignore the safety car on the top left-hand side of your screens. We are not under safety car conditions. We're under green flag racing. And now this opens up the battle for Razin Chai. Alex Gillen, Team Radio, screen freeze. That would explain why he's jumped backwards.
Big yikes moment, and for the majority of the final part of the lap, he was inside Meraki in the battle for 6th and 7th place with Formula Cream now in hot pursuit, but suddenly Razin Chai once again the favourite for this race.
Certainly is. He's got the advantage, and of course he's got the straight line speed. Down the inside it goes of Ricky 03, podium place number 2 secured. Can he now try and battle for the lead of this Grand Prix? That guy Vince stands in front of him as he runs down towards the chicane, turns 7 and 8. And what is he going to be able to muster up here? He doesn't. He does have the DRS of the Aston Martin in front. Is he going to go down the inside line? If he doesn't, I think Ricky might do it on him. He swoops to the inside, holds the defensive line. Alex Gillen, though, I think went for 2 for 1. He's past Meraki here, and he's up to P6 once again after that earlier screen freeze. F1 Scott is up to P9, but Razin Chai, the big talking point at the moment as we head towards the elongated left-hander, easily takes the race lead.
Have you seen Gillen, though? He's absolutely carefree at the moment, driving like he's got nothing to fight for and, well, just trying to make up places after that screen freeze cost him 4 spots from 2nd down to 6th place. The dart to the inside and the lunge up the inside of turn number 6 was something else.
Certainly was. He's pulling out all of the moves here this afternoon. He's tried it a couple of times. Hasn't always worked out for Mr. Gillen, but I'm hoping that he'll try and make a comeback in the closing stages of this race. We enter lap 53 of 58 in this Grand Prix. We've got 6 to go here in Abu Dhabi on the streets of Yas Marina. Punju gets past Dragonflies further back, but we are still seeing now Razin Chai start to pull that advantage. 1.2 to that guy Vince further back. Ricky 03 now can see the opportunity with the Aston Martin becoming a sitting duck.
And Vince's tyres are very, very old indeed, so he could be very, very vulnerable. Dark Viper still on those absolutely terrible soft compound tyres, but is making up places at the expense of Riccio 3 as they are still side by side coming out of turn number 5. And it's a drag race down to 6, but that guy Vince is going to get in the way of the pair of them. What can Sert Dogan do in that Red Bull, thinking about potentially picking up a good result, almost clattering into the back of them. Alex Gillett once again later on the brakes than everybody else around and trying to pick them off one by one, but he's going to run out of room on the outside there, sir, and now could be at the mercy of Formula Kareem.
He's trying everything he possibly can. Of course, Formula Kareem and or Meraki, who's both behind him. He moves to the inside line once again on Sert Dogan in towards the braking zone of the swooping left-hander. Dark Viper further forward, though, has broken through the field. He's up to P2. He's on soft tyres, remember, only 6 laps old, but will be dying before they get to the end of this Grand Prix. Remember back, we've mentioned this before, Nogueira struggled on 9-lap-old softs. That's what's been hurting him throughout the course of this race, and I wonder if we'll see the same fate happen to Dark Viper as well.
Well, we have to remember he was struggling before he got to the 9-lap point. He'd been struggling for 4 or 5 laps beforehand. So Dark Viper, he's got himself into second place, does have a penalty, and I think those tyres are going to start to feel very, very average indeed with just 5 laps to go. Constructors battle with that guy Vince still in third place. It is looking like it's going to be going to Aston Martin. F1 Scott penalty running 9th. Punju with a penalty running 12th.
Indeed, he is. Both, as you said, both McLarens not running in the truest of forms. That's going to be F1 Scott sending a move down the inside, though, trying to hold on past Formula Kareem. Up to P8 he is, but I think the Alpine might have got the better second stage of pull away out of the hairpin. We'll keep an eye. They're still locked wheel to wheel. Further back, the Aston Martin and the other McLaren are Punju and T. George going back wheel to wheel. Alex Gillen, though, wants to send one down the inside in towards the chicane. This time around, he's made it work. Gillen's up to P4.
He's not taking any liberties, though. Did you see the drift? As I think he just took a little bit too much of the sausage curb on the inside. Very much sideways coming out of it. Dak Govins gets second place back from Dark Viper. Meraki trying to challenge Gillen around the outside into turn number 5. Can he keep that Williams alongside? Has he got the grip and the traction? He's going to run out of road on the right-hand side. Gillen up into 4th.
Gillen up to 4th, but of course the penalty will come hammering down at the end of this Grand Prix. Razin Chai well and truly checks out as he heads under the hotel. 2.5 seconds in the advantage of that guy Vince. Dark Viper also with a penalty to his name. We'll have a brief reminder of how they stand. Both of them at 3 seconds. Scott further down with 6, being only 3 penalty holders in the top 10 at the moment, but of course the 3 seconds in a field like this will really, really hurt them in the latter stages. 55 at 58, 4 to go in this Grand Prix.
I wonder if something's happened to Formula Kareem. His progress is very much stalled, stuck behind the Williams of Riccio 3, who is nearly falling out of the DRS range of Sert Dogan in the Red Bull in front.
Doesn't look like it's been the race start for himself. I mean, he's got no front wing damage for Formula Kareem there, but I wonder if the tyres may be starting to fall away. He's done 8 laps on the softs. That could explain the pace differential. Keep an eye, though, on Alex Gillen. He's going to go for the same move that he's done multiple laps before. He's not only going to go past Dark Viper, is he going to try it on that guy Vince as well? He thought about it for a moment, swoops around the outside, gets the move done on Viper, and of course the dying softer tyres starting to come into their own. That guy Vince having to defend within an inch of his life.
He wants second place as well. He's not satisfied at all, but Dark Viper getting involved. Go, Gillen, go up the inside. Viper trying to hang it around the outside in that silver arrow car. Vince goes from second down into 5th place, but it's the Mercedes that's taking the high ground. And look at that. Pocket pinched is Gillen. Meraki up the inside, and now into the back of the Mercedes goes the Kick Sauber, losing places, sliding away. Bit of a fishtail, and he drops back down into 6th place.
He tried the aggressive driving strat. It's paid off for him before, but of course this time out with the streets so narrow, nobody's taking any chances with so few laps left in this Grand Prix. Further back, I think Ricky either diving into the pit lane. There's a bit of a car park at the final corner. That'll be Punju, T. George, and I think Matty D getting involved as well, as Ricky's well and truly in towards the pit lane. I don't know why he's got in so late here. I'm almost certain he's done all of the tyres that he's required to do.
Must have picked up damage, or maybe retiring in the pits, not sure. Alex Gillen, though, certainly giving us some highlights to look at the end of the race. Sert Dogan potentially could get on the podium for the Red Bull team, but it's Meraki with that Govins still on those ailing tyres, trying to pick up places. Gillen will not live this one down, though, as he wants to finish at least on the podium when the race comes to an end. He has got that 3-second penalty, which will chuck him out of the podium places if it stays as it is. Meraki, the pole sitter, now up into second. That guy Vince way too late on the brakes, locks up. I think Dark Viper's around the outside. And Sert Dogan, no, it's all gone wrong. Carbon fibre confetti.
Carbon fibre confetti indeed. We won't see a safety car this late on in the Grand Prix. Alex Gillen up to P3 though. He's managed to dispatch Dark Viper and Datko Vince as they got caught up in the carnage. Meraki though holding on to P2, but the question is for how long. With the penalty to Alex Gillen's name, he might be in a little bit of a good graces as we head on to the final 2 laps of racing. And this is going to be interesting to see. Alex Gillen, if his stream title may be as true as I think it could be, is driving an almighty race here this afternoon. He may not be legal on the streets of Yas Marina, but he's certainly legal on the circuit of Yas Marina.
Hopefully this isn't an advertisement to drinking while driving that Alex Gillen is putting in front of us. He is going to get thrown off the podium though as we start the penultimate lap of the race. Razin Chai still comfortably clear out in front by 6 seconds ahead of this almighty scrap for the final spot on the podium. Meraki has worked his way back through the pole sitter to second place. Formula Cream could still finish on the podium with the penalties for Alex Gillen and Dark Viper GT, but he's going to have to somehow get past Vince on those horrendous soft tyres.
He is indeed. Sir Dogan gets disqualified for parking up in a dangerous location. That was at the elongated left-hand. Of course, no safety car will come out on the penultimate lap of racing. Here, we've got 1.5 laps left of Season 8 of the F1 Create Series. Who would have thought it back in September? The final race would come down to this. F1 Scott thought about an audacious move down the inside of Formula Carib, but in the end, the Alpine just holding the absolute middle of the circuit, not allowing anybody to pass. We had the championship wrapped up last week in Qatar, but the battle is still going on in the Yas Marina for the race win, of course, well, for the podium, shall I say, as Razin Chai 6.7 seconds clear as Alex Gillen now takes past Meraki, but the penalty will come into its own later.
100%, yeah. F1 Scott in 7th, still fighting very, very hard, trying to keep McLaren's slim Constructors' Championship hopes alive. Datko Vince, though, holding firm in 4th position, and even though T. George is outside of the top 10, penalties will push F1 Scott and Punji down. Aston Martin, at the moment, just about holding on to that Constructors' lead.
Certainly it will be. We enter the final lap of racing here of Season 8. The final lap of racing at the Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. F1 Scott's up to P6. He finally bests out Formula Kareem as well as we enter into the first sector. Razin Chai, look at the advantage he has over absolutely everybody. No one else, even on the camera screen, as he heads in towards the hairpin. You'll just be able to see him long off in towards the distance as we see Alex Gillen and Meraki coming around the corner. Dark Viper over the team radio saying the tyres are cooked. I think that was to be expected as the softs start to go off a cliff here, but Meraki up into P2. He didn't have to do it as penalties became engaged. He's got it on track so far, but can he hold it on the circuit as he locks up in towards the chicane?
He's looking comfortable now. Alex Gillen's only really got one more opportunity to get past him on the road, but with that penalty is not going to finish in second place. Formula Cream's now down in 8th place with those soft tyres, really struggling come the end of this race. Look at that battle for 6th place on the road. Dark Viper gets ahead of that guy Vince. Safso battling away with F1 Scott. This is for the final spot on the podium potentially.
Certainly is indeed. It's all going to go down to this. We got someone going wide. Formula Karim couldn't quite keep it between the extremities of the track limits, but I think Alex Gillen might be able to hold on penalties alone for the final time though. In Season 8, Razin Chai will come home to take victory. He drifts across the line. He won in the opening round. He wins in the closing round. Razin Chai takes victory to Maranello. Meraki joins him on the podium with that guy Vince besting out Alex Gillen when penalties came into play.
And Aston Martin will, if my maths is correct, courtesy of that penalty for that guy, the podium, not penalty, no penalties for Vince, courtesy of the podium, take home the Constructors' Championship as well. Formula Cream ends up in 6th place, just picking the wrong tyres right at the end. But it is now 8 Creator Series wins for Razin Chai, his 3rd this season. Starting off with 2 wins in the opening 3 rounds, fell off a little bit midway through, almost looked like he lost his way, but ending in style with an imperious victory. And a real message to everybody else, get your strategy right, and that's what he did.
Exactly that. Datko Vince celebrating over the team radio. Podium finally for the Aston Martin. We've had a win this season for GB, his teammate. We've got a podium this season for Datko Vince, and I think it's been a whole mashup of races, a whole mashup of chaos this afternoon. Not only this afternoon, but over the course of this season. We've seen some beautiful racing. We've seen some beautiful craftsmanship as well. And of course, we've seen milestones been broken time after time after time. And that is what Season 8 of the Create Series has brought you this year. But for now, your final podium will will be Razin Chai, Meraki, and Dat Guy Vince, getting it all the way from P9. Safso, Alex Gillen, Formula Karim, Dark Viper, Punju, F1 Scott, and Matty D13 rounding out your top 10. Dragonflies, T George, Ricky 03, Hayden Gullis. Ricky 03 rounding out your finishers. Hayden Gullis, Naguera, and Mr. Dale, J.E. Blackmere, Lolly Nova, and Sir Dogan rounding out your finished grid order for the final race of Season 8.
And what a race it was. Final time in Season 8, final time in the year of 2024. I think that wildcard was a perfect way to send us off. We didn't know who was going to win it. Well, we maybe knew who was going to win it after the final safety car because Razin Chai was absolutely perfect in those final 10 laps or so. But the battle behind, I mean, one of the craziest scraps I think we've ever seen in the Creator Series with about 10 drivers involved at various stages.
Certainly was. It was chaos all round for every single one of our drivers. But the best way to send off the season, I'm sure we'll get a few drivers in for an interview in the next few minutes or so. But let us know at home if you're watching back at home in the live chat, what you thought of not only Season 8, but of course the race that you watched here this afternoon. I think for one, I really enjoyed that one. It was a great race out.
I concur. It was very, very fun. Very, very fun.
But hopefully we'll have a couple of drivers in a couple of moments. So, Tom, who would be your driver of the day if you had to give it to someone?
It's so hard, isn't it? Because my heart says that it's Mr. Dale. I think if I wasn't to give it to Dale, I would probably give it to Vince. Just the way he kept his head, ended up in third place, almost single-handedly won Aston Martin the Constructors' Championship because T. George was struggling just outside of the points for the majority of the race. He had a lot of pressure on his shoulders with GB missing, and he handled that absolutely perfectly.
Certainly did, and confirmation there coming from Gareth Allen. Aston Martin win the World Constructors' Championship by 4 points after that podium from Dat Guy Vince. I think that sums up who my vote is going to go towards. It has to be for Dat Guy Vince, securing not only his first ever podium in the F1 Creator Series, but of course securing the championship for the Aston Martin Constructors. Beautiful, beautiful send-off.
Yeah, and the two McLarens were fighting the whole way through. Started the final stint when the safety car came in third and fourth, I believe, but just falling back towards the end of the race. F1 Scott was still banging away at it, trying to pick up as many points as possible on the final lap of the race. But in the end, the Papaya Boys just coming short.
Well, fortunately, we can go have a look at how all our drivers' standings look at the end of season number 8. Tiamat Mod, of course, taking the season victory in season 8. Ignore me, I forgot to change that on our graphics. Alex Gillen making it up to P2 after a fantastic few races for himself, and Meraki securing P3 in the Drivers' Championship as well. GB68 narrowly missing out by about 7 points to his name. And of course, Vince, after that beautiful podium, finds himself tied for 14th with Infratic, both of them getting their first ever podiums this season.
Yeah, what a season it has been. Like you said a few minutes ago, a season of first wins, first podiums, and the first driver to pick up multiple championships in the Creator Series, of course, with Tiamat Marduk taking it 1 week ago in Qatar.
And we'll go have a look at the team standings, how they line up as well. There we go, confirmation. Aston Martin winning it out by 4 points. Not sure what's happened to the team in 7th, but we'll come back to that a little bit later. That's probably my end more than the pack's end. My PC's not really liking life at the moment. But McLaren in P2, 4 points. Williams rounding it out in P3 after some dominant displays by Meraki. Sauber, of course, 2 points behind themselves. And Ferrari, 204 points to their name to round off the season. The Wooden Spoon Award goes to the Haas team, though, down in P10.
Which I'm surprised about, really. That just shows how competitive it is and how close it is. Because Lolinoba and Dragonflies, I don't think you'd say they've had bad seasons, but as a team, they've come home in last place.
Not at all. It's been a fantastic race. There we go. Whoopsie, VCup's broken on this version of the package. That would explain why it's not working well. I'm pleased to announce that we've got a rather dubious amount of people in for an interview waiting room. I think it's only right that we start with Mr. Razin Chai, of course, our race winner here this afternoon.
I would totally agree.
Razin, welcome in to the commentary box. Some fantastic race win for yourself as well. Did it go how you thought it was going to go?
I don't think anyone could have predicted how it went, right? With the strategy implementation of 5 tyres today, but I had a strategy set in mind. Quite luckily, most people followed it. And yeah, can't really complain. It worked on the end. Took a risk at the end boxing for mediums, and went well on end.
Did you feel like with all of the carnage that was going on, you had to try and stick to your guns with the strategy that you went for before? Was it a little bit of trying to make it up as you go along with, wanting a better way to put it, but trying to think about it on the fly?
Yeah, I think the only thing I was set on was when I saw the safety car came out, it was perfect timing at the start. I was like, right, wet tires, then I'm always fixed on going into. I know Karim and Jake, I think, did hard or medium tires. But I was fixed on getting the wets and enters out of the way. That way, when there's another safety car down the line, which I knew was going to happen eventually, I've got a better strategy option of going on to mediums or hards. So I left my mediums at the end on purpose because I knew they're a great race tire. And yeah, it worked in the end.
Yeah, it was a fantastic race. Of course, you won it by a considerable margin right at the end there, and scored some crucial points for Ferrari heading into the end of the season. Of course, your teammate being unfortunately unavailable for the last 2 races endeavours. But how are you looking forward to maybe yourself and Infratic going into season 9? Is it giving you some hope?
I mean, well, I guess we'll have to see. I mean, I'm hoping I'm not his teammate again. Give me some relief for once. But no, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how I go next season. I think there'll probably be some more format changes, so it'll be interesting to see what the guys at Create Series, bring. And I'm just looking forward to it. It's been a fun season. Enjoyed the wildcards a lot. I think today was really fun. Quite a lot of people enjoyed it. Just having such a good strategy battle against everybody for once. And yeah, started the season off with a win and ended with a win, so I can't really complain.
Amazing stuff. Tom, anything further for Razin before we let him enjoy his evening?
No, bookending it perfectly, and I think the only driver that can say they got the strategy absolutely spot on.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much, Razin, and have a lovely evening. Well, I'll leave you to your choice of interviews for the next driver. Maybe we go in order of the podium. We'll go with Meraki and then Dakar Vince as well.
I would agree. I think we need to save the drunk Alex Gillen interview until last.
Or we just save it completely.
No, I think that'll be an interesting one to go for. You know, TK, you know.
I do know. Let's get Meraki in, have a little bit of chat and see how his race went. If you're able to drag him across for me.
I can do that, sir.
Much appreciated.
Oh, hi guys. Hello.
Hello. Well, Meraki, welcome in. Of course, P2 on the race and fastest lap to boot as well. Some fantastic points for yourself this afternoon.
That was fun. That was fun, honestly. I thought my race was over because I still had to do the soft run. I was just sulking at having to go 20 laps on a set of softs. And I was just begging for a safety car. And you should have seen the celebration I did. Like, my throat hurts from the amount I screamed when I saw Hayden fly into the wall. And I was like, okay, we're kind of on this now. And yeah, that final stint, it was literally just trying to get past everybody. And I deliberately kind of backed off a little bit from Alex in the final sector on the second to last lap, just so I could fully charge my battery and just absolutely send it for the purple lap, and we got it. So I'm happy.
What was the thinking behind starting on the mediums? Because obviously it left you in a position where you had to do that long stint on the softs, which we found out was a terrible, terrible race tire.
It's horrendous. Because the one time I don't start on the softs, we get a safety car within the first 5 laps, and it ruins me for the rest of the race. So I think if I went onto the inters after the wets like Razin did, I would have been okay. It just would have meant I'd be on the hards at the end rather than mediums. But yeah, aside from that, it was just fun. I'm happy with getting pole, fastest lap, and doing some overtakes at the end. So
amazing stuff. Well, congratulations as well, and you did well in the constructors between yourself and obviously, let's say, an abundance of teammates over the course of the last few races.
Yeah, I've lost count.
Yeah,
yeah.
But no, congratulations, massive stuff, and look forward to seeing you again, hopefully in season 9.
Hopefully too. Hopefully I get picked.
Fingers crossed, buddy.
Alright, see you later.
See you soon, Jake. See you soon.
Thanks, man.
Well, we'll head down the podium once more. Let's head to that guy Vince, see how his race went. Of course, not only his first podium, but securing the World Constructors Championships for himself as well. If you're able to drag him in for me.
I will. I'm always there for you, TK. Don't worry.
Thank you. Well, we got Taco Vincent now, and of course, his first podium in the Create Series and securing the World Constructors Championship by 4 points at the last chance of asking. How must that feel?
Pretty crazy. It was actually my second podium.
Oh.
I'll correct you there. My nerdy facts coming in. Yeah, no, it's a really good feeling. I think it's been a tough season because I missed a few races. I've not had a lot of great luck as well. So I knew it all came down to his final race. And I got to give credit to our reserve driver as well, George, who got a few vital points there because I think that was probably the big difference in the end. So yeah, very, very happy. It was a crazy race. Crazy race.
Did you feel like you had to change your approach going into this race with GB missing, almost being the lead figurehead for Aston Martin to try and get that Constructors' Championship won?
A little bit, yeah, because I know GB, he's been really quick this season. He's been lucky not to get a few wins as well, on top of his one that he got in Baku. So I knew that there was a lot I had to do. I had kind of the weight on my shoulders, really. So obviously with the wildcard today, you know, it made things a little bit complex with that. So I knew I had to go into that, into the race with that in mind. Getting the wets and inters done really early was actually really vital to the strategy towards the end. So yeah, no, GB's been fantastic this season. It would have been awesome to have him here because I think we would have done even better. Maybe got a double Aston podium, which would have been awesome. So yeah, hopefully I can stay with Aston next season. We can try and retain the championship.
Yeah, fantastic. So I think according to my count back as well, T. George actually scored 4 points in this race, if my maths are correct. So that is probably exactly what secured the championship for yourselves as well.
I wonder, would that have gone to McLaren then? Because I think they had more wins, didn't they?
That's a very good
I think
question.
it's pretty close.
Yeah, I think it was probably McLaren because GB's the only one to get a win for us, so
yeah,
it would have made sense.
Got a couple, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So wow, yeah. So George came in real clutch as reserve.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Gareth confirming it. Yeah, it would have gone to McLaren on countback. So yeah.
Wow.
But no, fantastic race out from yourself. Anything else you want to mention or say or shout out before we let you have the rest of your evening in peace?
No, I mean, I got to give credit to all the drivers who've reserved for Aston Martin. All their points they've done so far this season have been vital for us. So I got to give a big W to them. So yeah, it's been a long season, a tough season. Time to sit back, refresh a little bit, and we'll go on a bit more of a charge next season, both in the constructors and maybe in the drivers, depending on how things go.
Amazing. Well, best of luck, and we look forward to seeing you out in season 9 as well, pal.
Cheers. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much, Vince.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, overly happy, very on top of the world after securing that. And Gareth, yeah, confirming T-George got 4 points for the Aston Martin team at the last chance of asking. So a massive team effort, and that's what the Constructors is really about. Not necessarily a solo charge away like we see maybe in real life F1 from time to time, but it's that combination of drivers coming in and out and all scoring consistent points.
Yeah, and I'm very happy for Vince as well, because I think his position in the overall standings doesn't do him a lot of justice. I think he's had a lot of pace, and like he said as well, a lot of bad luck at the same time. So to end the season on a high, get that championship won, I think he'll be very delighted with that.
Yeah, we've got Safso sat in the waiting room. I don't know if we want to bring him in for a chat and see.
Yeah, get everybody in.
Let's get everyone in. It's end of the season, isn't it? Let's bring everyone in for a bit of a chat. Let's see what Safso has to say for himself. Safso, welcome in. You were sat in the interview race room, so we're going to pull you in and have a bit of a chat. Fantastic race for yourself, P4 overall. I think that was a bit of an unexpected moment for you.
Kind of. I knew on that last restart a lot of people ahead had penalties, especially like 9 seconds and 6 seconds of the sort. So I knew, even though I had 2 warnings, as long as I don't get that 3rd warning, I'm guaranteed to gain some positions. And then beyond that, just pick off the places here and there. Where it's like, okay, yeah, it's a gap. They haven't got a penalty. That's a gaining position. Cool, let's go for it. Anything where it was like, it'd be a bit of a dodgy move, and they had a penalty, it's okay, not worth the risk. Not going to gain anything. Let's just stay behind, be patient. And yeah, massively paid off. A P4 after being completely ripped away from the position I was in, I'll absolutely take it.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Almost probably feels like justice considering how high you were early on in the race. But strategy-wise, did you feel like you got it spot on? Because a lot of drivers definitely made very big mistakes starting on the mediums and leaving themselves having to do a lot of work on those soft tyres right at the end.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Ranson about it in the waiting room. I think both of us absolutely smashed the strategy. I was originally going to do something different. I think if there were no safety cars, I think I was going to do something like soft, medium, and then inters and wets in the middle, and then hards to the end or something, and then that preserves the same mediums if there's a safety car. But then obviously you have to improvise if there's a safety car, use up 3 of those 5 laps under safety car with the wets. It just puts you in such a good position later because you don't have to worry about putting on those tyres in green flags. So yeah, I think a few of us absolutely nailed that strategy, and it helped so much at the end, having fresh tyres compared to some people's old tyres that they were still on.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of carnage and chaos all round. So many pit stops for us to try and keep up with. I think Gillen and Kareem and I think it was whoever the leading McLaren was at the end actually broke team telemetry because it's not showing what tyre they pit onto because of how many stops they've just had. But if you could round up your season maybe in 3 or 4 words, how would you describe it?
That's putting pressure on TK.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm asking the difficult, awkward questions this evening.
Bad luck and underwhelming.
Ooh.
Oh.
Is I officially missed 2 races. One was to do an endurance race that then Mr. Benjamin Daly completely messed the registration up for. Another one, Qatar, that was just, it seemed like it was going to be a headache to do. And then Imola, I should have been able to do, but because of certain features within the game, we'll put it that way, because of certain features, was not given the chance to do that race, even though it was in the session and everything. So a lot of points missed out on. I would say pretty much out of my control. This race as well, about probably 4 points dropped, and couldn't do anything about it. But yeah, if somehow these little issues here and there can get sorted, can definitely be higher up there in the Saints. I mean, who knows what the roster's going to be next season, but yeah, hopefully we'll be there, and hopefully can not have as bad luck with disconnects and such.
I think we can speak from pretty much everyone in not only the broadcast team but probably in chat as well. We really hope that we don't see the same issues because we want to see you back as a 2-time champion to challenge Ben Daly.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he can't be allowed to be the only one with
Not
that.
at all.
I'm yeah, no, and then yeah.
Amazing.
It can't run. It can't run.
Tom, anything further for Safso before we let him enjoy his evening?
No, all good. The mentality of a champion, and that's what I like to hear.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Safso, thank you so much for coming in and joining us. Thank you so much for the fantastic displays of racing you've given us over the course of the season as well.
Thank you very much.
Have a lovely evening, and we'll let him go back to the interview waiting room. And we'll drop him back in with probably our final guest for this afternoon. We've got a certain someone who, as you mentioned at the start of the stream, had a slightly interesting Twitch title that I'm intrigued to ask him about. Why don't you bring him in and we'll have a bit of a chat?
I hope this doesn't disappoint and fall flat on its face.
I really hope so as well. Alex Gillen, welcome in for the final race of the season. Some little birdie told me there's maybe a few pre-drinks before this evening's race.
Just water, mate. Just nothing but water. I'm a responsible role model. No, H2O all the way.
Of course. Sorry, go for it, Tom. Go for it.
No, it's fine. I was going to say, I have to congratulate Alex